This is the fifth talk in a series that we are conducting on various topics related to Islam. Today we have an illustrious and broad spectrum of media professionals with us today. Thank you for joining us, Kuch Khaas. Today we have amongst us several investigative journalists, columnists in both English and Urdu national dailies, an editor, he will be coming soon, a foreign correspondent, a producer, and anchors who discuss various topics 4 times a week, once a week. Some grill the public figures one-on-one. So we have a whole different set of styles, mediums of communicating amongst these professionals. And hence we have an opportunity to have, hopefully, an interesting dialogue. How do they communicate with us? How should they communicate with us? All of these things should be discussed today.
The mainframe of my argument is basically conflict of interest. I think we're going to have several people in this room, whether on this side of the table or that side, talk about the holy cows which we expect them to be. Of course, yes, the good old deep state, the establishment, our friends in uniform or out of uniform. The other industrial gurus who run this country, etc. I'm not going to go in that direction. I'm going to try to be a little more introspective. I think charity starts at home. I've spent a little bit of time in the last couple of years trying to figure out the systems and structures within the media. Within, that means inside, just on this side of the table, not really going anywhere else, which are bothersome. And conflict of interest is a term which is thrown around, but just to keep it simple, I mean, I really want to know why we don't hear from ourselves, by ourselves, about ourselves. That's the real question. We all know that there's a media town out there somewhere. How did those plots get acquired? Who did that processing? Why were they even taken? Why were they even out in the first place? Somebody needs to answer this question. That somebody needs to be from within the media, preferably. Also, slush funds, the governments and different ministries now admittedly have secret funds, no audit, no insight, no access, no idea who receives it. I don't. Maybe my friends would know, maybe you would know. But we need to know more about that as well, generally in our papers. Leaks, I'm not going to pass judgment on what's wrong or right about Shakil Afridi, but Shakil Afridi's detention in the last year is a classic example of what's wrong with the processes of media itself. A year of silence, no real digging, no real investigation. Just a couple of stories here and there, and then boom, papers, respectable papers, papers I work for or have worked for, ran unattributed stories about what his connections were.
Welcome.
Sorry for the wait.
So, once again, like I said, I'm going to let saner minds prevail. But once again, are leaks politicized? Are leaks commercialized? Of course, leaks are an important part of the whole media process itself. And then finally, a little bit of the incest within the media industry, which is really starting to bother me. Intermarriage, generally a bad idea for genetics and for your genes and for your health, but evidently not in the media world. Intermarriage, as far as rishtedari is concerned, is also beginning to make this industry look more and more like an oligopoly. There's few families in charge. We don't really know where the buck stops. Talk to any columnist, talk to any reporter, and they'll tell you. Just a couple of nights ago, we were discussing, we were doing a tally of like how somebody tried to do a story on a fast food restaurant out here in Islamabad, and how evidently the owner of the paper called and said, "Yaar, ye na karo, he sent it somewhere else." And the other group, because they weren't related in any way, once again, gladly ran that story. So, I mean, what are we trying to settle? Personal scores? Just because people aren't related to each other, is that going to be the next yardstick? So once again, keeping it simple and keeping it focused on the conflict of interest and how we really need to be more introspective about ourselves. That's my take, and I hope your questions can engage us more on that aspect. Thanks.
I think the biggest holy cows are the corporate world, and then comes the army. A lot of people think it's the other way around. We have a very brilliant glass ceiling. People forget at the end of the day it's a business.
Yeah.
It might be a passion for me, it might be a vocation for me, but for my owners, it's a business. It has to make money for him or her, whatever, so he can afford our luxurious lifestyle. The biggest problem in Pakistan's media, as far as I'm concerned, is that the owners are editors also. When it comes to channels, they are the chief executives. When it comes to print, they are the chief editors-in-chief. So their glass ceilings are much earlier than that of a professional editor or a professional managing director of a television channel or something like that. And I've never seen more restrictions on me in my last 25 years or whatever, from writing something against the army, against the intelligence, that is on a personal level. You pay the price at a personal level, not at an institutional level. Then the restrictions that come, the invisible restrictions that come when you're trying to hit a business goal or a certain issue. I don't think anybody, you have your networks not working. I don't think you ever read anything against Mobilink or Warriors or anyone for that matter. Take any big corporate. You'll never find anything against them. We'll all talk about Malik Riaz, you'll never see anything about him in print or on television. That's not a coincidence. So that's a very, just to give you an idea, the media buys about 32 billion rupees a year. 35. 32 billion. Just let's say television is getting about 19 billion. Print is about 8.5 billion. So when you have a 35 billion pie at stake, there are going to be a lot of other considerations as far as the business groups are concerned. So for me, and I'm just talking from experience, for me the biggest sacred cow is the corporate world. And we just can't touch them. And somehow, even when the story is about to be done, the first call you get from is your own advertising department or the marketing, depending whether it's a print or it's television. And then even if you sort of ignore them, you usually get a call from the top, from the guy who writes a paycheck.
I'll just divide the holy cows into three categories. And I think pretty much all of us will agree on those things. To me, I think the holy cows are those who can pose some kind of a threat to us. Now, the threats are three. A, physical threat, B, commercial threat, and C, professional threat. As far as the first category is concerned, physical threat, it's obvious. As Malik said, traditional bad guys, the intelligence agencies, the deep state. Added to that mix is now all sorts of extremists, whether they're Taliban or they're involved with any other extremist group. They're not big believers in talking things out. So obviously, whenever we have to do a story, there is at the back of the mind the fact that these guys are not going to send us a clarification. If actually there is a clarification, it's probably going to come wrapped in a bullet. So obviously we think many times before that. So physical threat as a group, of course, is the deep state as well as these extremists. I would say that the threat from the deep state is now not as much as it used to be, despite the fact that people are still getting killed. Like we know of one particular case which happened last year. And this is, I think many of us may disagree with it, but it's slowly receding, slowly. But the threat from the other side, the non-state actors, is still very much there, and I think it's very difficult to say whether it's going to go down in the coming days. We've just had one colleague of mine who had to leave the country for 3 months. He was based in Peshawar because he was told very clearly that you're on a hit list, and they said openly. So he just left for 3 months with his family, and he's just come back. So that's number one. Number two is the corporate threat, which Malik mentioned. I think it's, I would agree with him, it's growing bigger and bigger. There is absolutely no way that we can do anything against the big advertising. And specifically the telecom industry. So, if whether it's Mobilink or Warid or whoever else, there is no way. As far as the media is concerned, they are stronger than the deep state and the Taliban combined. because they hit where it hurts. So they're a big no-no right now, and I think this holds true across the channels, across the media houses. You know, some media house may decide to take on the deep state, some may decide to take on the Taliban. Nobody will take on these corporate guys. Nobody. So right now that's a huge threat, and I agree with Malik. It's not going anywhere. It's probably going to get stronger. You know, because when the economy is in a bad shape, you know, channels and media houses are in desperate need of funds, and public official funds, of course, can be manipulated. So nobody dare cross that path. So that's the corporate threat. And the third one is the professional threat. Here, what I would classify is not going against A, the Seth, the owner, B, the Seth's family, C, the Seth's friends, and D, the Seth's friend's son.
So and the Seth's son-in-law.
Yeah, so it sort of spans. So that's where the freedom of expression kind of ends.
किसी हद तक हमारी ट्रेडिशंस वो भी हॉली काउज के उसमें आते हैं. मसलन अगर आप बलूचिस्तान में जाएं या फिर आप हमारे KPK में आ जाएं, तो वहाँ पे कुछ ट्रेडिशंस को भी ये हैसियत हासिल हो गई है कि आप उनको टच नहीं कर सकते, आप उनको डिस्कस नहीं कर सकते. एक और विद सम एक्सटेंट आजकल जुडिशरी ने भी ये हैसियत इख्तियार कर ली है, और शायद इस वक्त वो इस मामले में टॉप पे है. दूसरा मेरा एक मुशाहिदा ये भी है कि हॉली काउज वो वक्त के साथ साथ भी बदलते हैं पाकिस्तान में. मसलन आज से अगर 10 साल पहले हम मुजाहिद तंजीमों के ख़िलाफ़ बात करते या फिर हम अगर तालिबान के ख़िलाफ़ बात करते तो ख़ुद रियासत की तरफ से उसको गद्दारी करार दिया जाता था, और फिर कुछ औकात ऐसे भी आ गए कि उसमें फिर उनके हक़ में बोलना मुश्किल हो गया. आजकल एक दूसरी तरह की कन्फ्यूजन है, या फिर ये कि एक ही ग्रुप होगा, उसके साथ अगर हुकूमत पर कोई मुआहदा नहीं हुआ है. मसलन हमने देखा है कि नॉर्थ साउथ वज़ीरिस्तान में जब शुरू में तालिबान के साथ मुआहदा नहीं हुआ था, तो अगर कोई ये बात करता कि ये तो अपने लोग हैं, इनके साथ लड़ना ठीक नहीं है, तो उस सूरत में आप मुजरिम होते. लेकिन फिर जब कोर कमांडर साहब ने जाके उनको हार पहनाए और वो कर दिए, तो उसके बाद मामला उलट था. अगर आप ये कहते कि यार ये तो दहशतगर्द है, आपने क्या कर दिया. तो एक तो ये कि वक्त के साथ साथ भी ये हॉली काउज का वो बदलता है. दूसरा जगह के साथ भी बदलते हैं. मसलन इस्लामाबाद में शायद ISI और फौज और जुडिशरी हॉली काउज हो, लेकिन आप अगर बलूचिस्तान में जाएं तो उधर फिर सरदार को ये हैसियत हासिल है. कराची में MQM हॉली काउज बन जाता है, और वज़ीरिस्तान में फिर तालिब मुल्ला या मिलिटेंट हॉली काउज बन जाता है. तो वही एक चीज़ पूरे पाकिस्तान पे मुंतबिक नहीं होती. अब इस्लामाबाद में आप जितना चाहें तो आप MQM को बुरा भला कहें, बलोच सरदारों को कहें, कोई आपसे पूछने वाला नहीं होगा, बल्कि आपको अप्रिशिएट किया जाएगा. लेकिन अगर आप बलूचिस्तान के अंदर ये करें या फिर कराची में MQM को क्रिटिसाइज़ करें, तो वहाँ उनको ये हैसियत हासिल है. फिर एक ये भी है कि हर फर्द और हर इदारे के अपने अपने हॉली काउज भी है. मसलन आप अगर पॉलिटिशियन और किसी जमात में हैं, तो उधर उस जमात के कारकुन के लिए उसका लीडर जो होता है वो हॉली काउज होते हैं, और वहाँ पे उनको क्रिटिसाइज़ करने का कोई तसव्वुर नहीं है. मैं अगर अपने इदारे में हूँ तो मेरे लिए अपने मालिकान या जो मेरे बॉसेस होते हैं उनको ये हैसियत जो है हासिल हो जाती है. तो वो भी वेरी करता है इदारे से मुतालिक और फ़र्द से मुतालिक कि भाई कोई अपने लिए किसको कितना हॉली काउज बनाता है और कितना वो उसको नहीं बनाता. या फिर अगर आप आ जाएं तो पाकिस्तान में शायद फ़ौज और इस्टेब्लिशमेंट को ये हैसियत हासिल होगी, तो हो सकता है सऊदी अरब में ये हैसियत उनके रॉयल फैमिली की हो. वेस्ट में जाके फिर ये हॉलोकॉस्ट और इस तरह की चीज़ों की आ जाती है कि उनको आप टच नहीं कर सकते. या फिर तबकात में भी खुद तबकात ने अपने अपने लिए भी वो बना दिए हैं. जो प्रो वेस्ट होंगे, वेस्ट के लिए अपने आप को एक्सेप्टेबल बनाना चाहेंगे, तो वो उनकी जो चीज़ें हैं उनको क्रिटिसाइज़ करना अपने लिए वो मुनासिब नहीं समझते. जो राइट के लोग हैं जो यहाँ पे हैं तो वो फिर राइट के लोगों को या राइट के इदारों को उन्होंने उनको होली कॉज अपने लिए बना दिया है?
First thing, being a journalist and a person who believes in the power of media itself, I wanted to narrate to you or give you an anecdote or mention you an incident that made me embarrassed, that embarrassed me actually. And that was about, or more or less about a year ago, when you'll remember that there was rumor that the government of Pakistan is going to withdraw the notification that had reinstated judiciary. And just because of that rumor that was started in the media, I somehow felt, or it was the impression that somehow we are going to have a big time conflict between the executive and judiciary. And somehow it can derail the democracy in this country, or it can really harm our democratic process. That was the first thing. But then I remembered a lot of things, my own experiences. One thing that was astounding was that when about 14-15 years ago I joined media, the first organization I joined gave me employment letter about after about 4 or 5 months. And on the header of that employment letter was not any mention of any media organization. That was a pharmaceutical company's, ladies and gentlemen, header. And I'm sure that was because there was some kind of tax evasion going on. There was some double standards. While we keep on preaching everybody else that you have to pay taxes, a lot of media persons or a lot of media owners are basically tax evaders, big time tax evaders. But after these two things, I would also like to talk about the structure that we are in. A working journalist is only just a working journalist. He is not more than that. Unfortunately, in this country, we don't have that much training institutions for the media professionals. We don't have that kind of orientation that could have helped them. Earlier, I'm sure when Malik Saab started, he must have really big editors who were an industry or who were a university in itself. Malik Saab is one of those who, from whom I have been inspired. All our friends here have been a big inspiration, but with due respect, when I compare them with the kind of editors that we used to have, Mazhar Ali Khan and 15 others, I must say that we perhaps are not giving back to the society as much we could. That is one tier. Working journalist has his own problem. There's a lot of unemployment, there's a lot of poverty among our ranks. The first editor that I worked with died about a month ago in Scholar and Poverty. Nobody talks about him. The second editor that I worked for, or who supervised my work, had a big brain hemorrhage. And sir, I worked with you as well. I did not get next to you, but I'm glad that I didn't. The second gentleman, he is incapacitated because he didn't have that kind of financial help coming to him. But this is coming from somewhere else. But maybe the second link is the editors or the decision makers. Editors are there, they supervise, but somehow in present day situation, the professional editors have been sidelined. They have been asked, or they have been forced to work in secondary capacity. The first and the most important, as all of them have put it, are the owner editors. The rise of owner editors has actually decimated the quality of media that we have seen. Somehow I'm baffled that drone attacks actually didn't kill most of my citizens. Other kind of drones actually killed them. And they were the fundamentalists. They were the people who were wearing suicide vest, who came and exploded themselves. Somehow, when I'm going to talk about my negotiations with America, I'm told that you are not Gharatmand enough, you don't have that kind of honor. But our Gharatmand anchors, most of them, the big anchors, forget that the mass murderers of Pakistani citizens are those who are sitting among us, and just a second, They're sitting among us, and we don't have any qualms in their talking about engaging them in a dialogue and even electing them to the panel. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much.